Hi, I'm Katie. I live in the south of England and I don't read any books. Actually, that's a lie. I just don't read very often, and I would like to. So I'm creating this YouTube channel to get more involved in those kind of communities, to see what people have to say, by giving myself an outlet to discuss books and what I think about books and what other people think about books. I'm hoping that's gonna let me get back into reading and find my passion in reading again. When I was in school, I would always get told off for reading too much in class, and I would always try and do that really stupid thing where you'd hide the book inside the other book that you were meant to be reading. I would really like to get that passion back and to immerse myself in this kind of community. The problem is I don't have very many books at the moment. I have about 10 books that are worth talking about. The rest of the things I own are recipe books, which are great, but I then don't reference recipe books very much. So I would like to grow my book collection. I'd like to read more widely, and I'd like to get recommendations from whoever may be watching these videos or what kind of things that they would think that I would like to read. Because for me, getting back into it after such a long time is very difficult. So I've been watching a few booktubers who are really inspiring, and they've given me a lot of ideas about the kind of books I might like, but I'm still at that stage where I need to start somewhere, and I can show you all the books I have, and I'll do a couple of videos about them, more as practice for myself and talking about books than anything else. And I'd love to have conversations with people about their own thoughts and opinions on the books that I have. So without further ado, I have Memoirs of a Geisha. This is probably the oldest book in my collection. I moved quite a few times and I pared down my book collection to literally 2 or 3 books and a few graphic novels. This is one of the oldest books in my collection. I have Wild Swans by Young Chang. I really love this book as well. It's the second oldest book in my collection. This is my series. It's the Throne of Glass series. I'm sure a lot of people have read it. I'm sure a lot of people know about it. I actually bought the second book first. No, I actually bought the third book first. So before I read the third book, I went and bought the first 2 books. I have a thing about, if I know something is in a series, I won't read it until I have started at number 1, and I'm sure that's not unusual. So I own 4 of these books. I have Reborn by Susan Sontag. You can see it's been bookmarked in quite a few places, and I have these tabs for later reference. I find Susan Sontag fascinating, and I am sure I will talk about her later. Diane Arbus, Revelations. I really like Diane Arbus. I did a photography degree, and she was one of the photographers that really inspired me in a way, and she captured a lot of the feeling that I had in my own life at that point. This book is just, it's a record of her life, and there are just fascinating pictures in here, and I love going through it and flicking through it, and there's always something I find in here that I forget about or that is entirely new. I own Seconds by Brian Lee O'Malley. I love Scott Pilgrim. I haven't read the books, but my partner got me this as a present and I really loved it, so I'll be talking about this more in a later video. I have the Interstellar complete screenplay, which I went to see the film. My camera cut out. So I went to see Interstellar in the cinema with my partner, and then he got me this as a present, and being kind of involved in the film industry a little bit, I found it really interesting. They have the storyboards at the back, and an interview with Jonathan and Christopher Nolan in the front. So yeah, it's a nice insight to the film. This book, which I find really difficult to describe, it is a work of philosophy. It's about logic, it's about maths, it's about reality, and how we interpret it. My partner studied philosophy as his degree, and so he gets all this. I wanted to get more into it and try and understand it, and this is what he got me to get started. This is Logic Comics. It is a comic about Bertrand Russell's life and his work. I found it really interesting. He is a bit of a guy, but at the same time it's really interesting to know more about the people behind the work, and this is another present from my partner. You've seen all my book collection. I do have some other books that are more like reference books, as I said before. I really love to explore the books I have, and I'm hoping that making a video about some of them will help me to judge better the books that I might like to add to my collection. Any recommendations are so welcome. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in later videos. Bye!